lose a ton of money, build up your customer base, get huge customer growth. At some point, we'll be profitable. Cool. How do you become profitable in the middle? We'll figure that out.
I'm sorry, is that MoviePass or Challengers? Which one are we?
I don't know that we ever
built up our customer base.
Assume we'd be profitable is what I was going to say.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
So, Patrick, normally you would be saying things and leading people into this week's episode of Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast on the Yak Channel Podcast Network, where you, Patrick Brower, and me, W. Dal Bush, talk about our week at Challengers Comics or developments in the comics industry, all that sort of stuff. Except we already did that tonight.
Boy, did we.
We did an entire hour podcast where we talked about the new Marvel Legends figures that we got in, about DC's 100-page giants that are being sold at Walmart, where we talked about Transformers, Power of the Primes, Titan Class Predaking.
Well, to be fair, we didn't talk about that.
So much stuff that we're recording this after we took a break. We individually had dinners. You found out that the recording that we had done earlier tonight was corrupted and unusable. And so to be fair to the listeners that we have that are looking for new episodes, we are recording another one, but Jesus Christ, do I not want to talk about all that same stuff again that we just talked about?
Well, I understand that, but we have to touch on it because that was the entirety of the episode.
Touch is kind of what I want to do. I almost want to do like in summary, we sold a bunch of Marvel Legends figures.
I said to you at the end of that recording that I didn't think we had anything going in, but I thought we had a really good episode.
Okay.
And once I found out the file was corrupted, I kind of didn't want to do anything.
Sure, the last thing I want to do is try and recapture that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we can't. We can't recapture that.
Yeah, I don't want to hit those same points and try and talk at length about those things. That oftentimes when you and I are doing an episode of the podcast, we'll have had brief discussions about a topic earlier in the week, but really
we're formulating our thoughts as we talk.
At length, we talk about it on the podcast. I don't want to have to talk about it at length twice, even though the people listening to this will never get to hear the first part of it. I don't have it in me to talk about it the same way.
No, I understand. And honestly, I had said maybe we skip this week and say to everybody, sorry, technical difficulties, we tried. And you said, no, we should re-record it.
I feel like I phrased it a different way, but yeah, that's probably what I meant.
Well, there are things we didn't talk about in the episode, and this goes back a couple of weeks, but the UPS strike has been averted. Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen. And in fact, what is most likely going to happen, now this still has to be voted on by the unions, but
rising sea levels.
It looks like that's already happened.
Okay.
It looks like it's guaranteed. Sunday delivery.
Sunday UPS delivery?
Yes. 7-day a week UPS delivery.
Interesting. I wonder if that's would cost us more, or if whatever?
No, I think it's what they have to do to stay competitive. The issue was obviously wages.
Sure.
And the differences between starting driver salary versus starting warehouse salary versus long-time driver salary. And basically, the unions are asking for parity across the board.
Oh, okay.
Like saying, hey, a driver's a driver. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not going to start a new driver out low. Like, obviously, experience and tenure matter, but it's also different between part-time and full-time. Like, if you're a part-time driver, you should still be making per hour what a full-time driver makes.
Okay.
That was a major part of what they were
So seasonal
negotiating.
help is going to get the same starting pay as a full-time year-round
But
driver.
also, they're looking at the regularity of Sunday delivery, and I can't help but wonder if that's going to affect what we do. No, because reorders are placed on Sunday, but perhaps they're processed faster.
Processed faster by whom? Where?
I don't know. When you place...
Well, when I place an order on Sunday, it's not going to get ready to go at Diamond
until Monday morning. Yeah, I just realized that.
Yeah, there's no... In theory, you could do... I mean, depending on how Diamond packs stuff, I don't know if you could place a reorder on Friday and have us get it on Sunday. But we're already going to be placing stuff on Sunday for that Wednesday's new books. So, like, we've got to place orders on Sunday for
Wednesday. We can't place it on Saturday because we wouldn't get the new product.
Yeah, exactly.
And if we place it on Monday, we're not going to get it on Wednesday.
Right.
Unless you place it like 8 a.m. And even that's not a guarantee.
Yeah, for sure.
Lately, it's not even a guarantee to get it on Wednesday when placed on Sunday.
That's true.
And once again, we're coming up to a Wednesday where there definitely won't be a delivery.
4th of July.
Because it's a holiday, except for us.
So yeah, I can't see it affecting us the way we generate and place reorders, but other stores might. But I know for a fact that most stores just bundle in their reorders with their regular Wednesday shipments.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to affect the comics industry, maybe in ways that I can't foresee, but based on the way that I've seen shops operate, yeah, I don't think so.
We do spend a lot on shipping.
We do, a lot. We've talked before about the potential of taking the graphic novel reorder section of our weekly reorders
and just bundling it into regular delivery.
And getting it every few weeks, but it's tough because we've pared down how many rack copies we stock for most titles.
And that extra week of not having a book is...
Or two.
Yeah. It's not a thing we want to consider.
No.
And plus, we do like being able to have a book for somebody within a week.
Yeah. Although, I mean, that said, like, we would still place, weekly reorders for special orders, for comics restock, that kind of thing. It would just be, like, the boxes full of heavy-ass graphic novels would be a thing that we would get in with the bulk delivery that we pay a lot less for in shipping.
Which would make Tuesdays less fun.
Yeah, that was the other part, is like, oh, it's nice to be able to get that stuff on Wednesday where we don't have to do that and new comics at the same time.
And also, there's no guarantee that they wouldn't be mixed, the product wouldn't be mixed in.
Yeah.
Which would make receiving
I think it wouldn't
sorting.
Be, though. I mean, usually you find the restock stuff packed separate from the regular new product.
Yeah, I mean, 90% of it.
I think what traditionally happens, and I could be wrong on this, is that it's packed someplace and then shipped to the other Diamond warehouse where it goes in with your order. Like Olive Branch is still putting it together, they're just sending it to Plattsburgh that then sends it back to you.
Sure.
Does that make sense? I could be wrong on that. I could be 100% wrong on that.
We may never know.
Yeah. So real quick, just to knock it out, we talked about on the previous episode...
We started with June sales.
The Lost episode. We talked about June sales and the fact that while our June 2018 is down from June 2017, that's because June 2017 had Rick and Morty Day in it, and that was like a second...
Free comic book day.
Right, and that we were never going to like natively match those sales, but June 2018 is way up over June 2016.
Which is great because 2016 was our best year, and while 2018 is definitely up over 2017 in measurable ways, it hasn't, for the most part, been above 2016. But to beat a 2016 month is encouraging.
Yeah, and October 2016 is kind of when it all fell apart for Challengers and for most of the industry. That's when...
And the country.
Marvel's... That was November.
It started in October.
There was a week there between Cubs win the World Series and the election where it was like, yay! And then it just karmically... We all paid the price for the Cubs winning the World Series. Anyway, but we talked about one of the reasons why June 2018 was up so huge in a way that may not be repeatable June 2019. It's because we got a disturbingly high number of Marvel Legends waves in June 2018.
4 in a span of a week.
Yeah.
Or actually, 8 days.
Yeah, exactly. In the previous episode, not the one that got lost, but the actual one that hopefully people heard, we mentioned that we'd gotten the Avengers Infinity War Wave 2 and X-Men, the Marvel's Apocalypse Wave. And then I think I joked on that episode that because we just got these 2 cases in, or 2 waves in, we got multiple cases in. Because we got these 2 waves in, that we'd be getting like the Deadpool wave the next week, and we did.
Yep.
We got the Deadpool wave 2, and we got the Spider-Man wave 2 for 2018. And
that brought people out of the woodwork.
Yeah, I posted about them on Instagram when I unpacked them, put them on the shelves, and did not realize that Patrick would be getting nonstop private messages over Instagram from people all over the country.
You'd be getting them too if you looked at your Instagram.
I don't have any notifications turned on for Instagram because I don't use it that way.
Yeah, but when you come in, like, there's a little...
But I don't go in. Like, when I go in, it's to post something new, and that's like once a week maybe. So I would not...
Once a week, eh?
Well, sometimes on the weekends. We'll talk about that. But I had not... I had done it just in a way to say, like, hey, Challengers has these things in, thinking it would mostly go out to the people who follow us, which are mostly people who are in the neighborhood, who are people who shop at the store. But I tagged it with Marvel and Marvel Legends, and since we were, like, the first store in the United States, I guess, or maybe the world, to get the Deadpool Series 2 figures in...
Or at least to tell people we got it.
It made a lot of people that we usually don't have contact with get real excited about potentially ordering them from us.
There were people talking about driving from other states to come get these.
Yeah, some people were emailing us, and I was able to say, no, I'm sorry, these are for in-store sales only, but best of luck in your search. But a lot of people were either, I guess, posting on Instagram or private messaging the store, i.e. Patrick, through Instagram, asking us to mail these figures out. And
none of the anybody that commented,
mm-hmm.
like, will you ship these? How much or anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't answer.
Sure.
But the direct messages, I let sit for a little bit. Then I felt compelled to.
Sure. So the reason why we don't necessarily want to ship them out to people for internet sales for these figures is for a high demand item like this that we have a limited stock of. If we have the choice between selling it in store versus selling it online, we'd rather sell it in store because while a lot of the folks that are coming in might just be getting these figures, at least if they're coming in store, A, they might buy something else. B, they're local enough that they will check us out for other things. We are on their radar now. People that are ordering them online, they want them from us because nobody else has them. Unless that happens again in the future, they won't think of us for doing Marvel Legends.
Yeah, it's not a question of wanting it from us, it's just them wanting it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we would like our regular clientele who wants these figures to have first crack at it.
Yeah, and again, even if it's not a regular customers, if it's just people finding out on Instagram that a store local to them has these figures, I will take that. I will take that promotion of, oh, they know that we carry Marvel Legends now. They'll check us out for toys. They'll check us out for other things. Maybe they follow us now on Instagram or Twitter, and if we have a promotion coming up that they're a fan of, that they might check us out now, where previously they wouldn't have even known we existed. So any way into local people who would want to buy stuff from us, I want to make that connection.
I didn't say this last time, but it wasn't just, you have this, it was, I really want this, and I'm about to have major surgery, so I can't get to your store.
Yeah, the emails that I got were either, I mentioned this in the previous Lost episode, a mix of coherent and incoherent. Some of them were like almost like a text-to-type situation where I'm like, I don't know what sentence this is, but I'm catching these keywords, and no, we're not sending these to you. But some of them were, hey, I was looking to see if you could ship these out. And when I would respond, people would be usually very polite.
Yeah, people were very nice about
like, hey,
being
thanks
told
so much
no.
for getting back to me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Or I totally understand. Obviously, I'd pay shipping, but I understand.
Yeah, one guy said, I just moved to Phoenix from Chicago last month. I should have waited a month. I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's sweet. Thanks.
When I got to the store Friday morning, there was a group of about 10 people waiting out front exclusively for these figures, and I don't know how long they were waiting there, but they were very polite. They had a set order of who got there first, and they marched in the store in that way.
Yeah.
One thing is I didn't limit. Like, if people wanted 2 of a figure, I'm
sure,
like, fine.
Who cares? We didn't have that many of them. It's not like we had, like, 8 or whatever, but...
Like 8 cases or anything.
Yeah, if we had 2 or 3
more
of a
than
figure,
normal.
I don't know, man, go nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a thing that, when we previously recorded, which I feel like we should stop saying...
The Lost episode.
We equated to variant covers, and because it's not a fandom that you and I really resonate with. I mean, I buy a lot of Marvel Legends of characters I like, but
and
it's
I
not
follow a lot of toy news online. I spectate more than I participate.
but it's not a thing that we really cultivate in our store. We just like people buying them.
Yeah, and I mean, you buy figures, and I think the crossover of selling a lot of Marvel comics and stocking Marvel Legends figures is a pretty obvious one.
Yeah.
The reason, I think, to explain it a little bit more, the variant covers idea came up because looking at a case assortment of, say, the Deadpool series, which is 2 Lady Deadpools, 2 X-Men t-shirt Deadpools, 1 boxer short Deadpool, 1 Bishop, 1 all-new Wolverine, 1 Omega Red. I looked at that when that wave was announced a few months ago and went, those, aside from the Wolverine, those all seem pretty lame. It doesn't seem like anyone's going to care.
But the corresponding Spider-Man Wave 2...
Yeah, which was 2 Doc Ock, House of M. Spidey, Scarlet Spider, Cloak, Dagger, Daredevil, Elektra. Seemed like a much stronger wave. There's at least like 4 figures in there where I'm like, oh, those are pretty cool. I think people are going to like those. And we got both of them in on the same day and put both of them in an Instagram post. But like the Deadpool wave, everybody flipped out over. And figures where I'm like, really? Omega Red? But like, yes, people want Omega Red. The Deadpools where I'm like, man, we're going to get caught with these Deadpools. Like, no, sold out. All gone. The variant covers are the same thing where, because there's no story content that I as a fan or as a retailer can lock into, it's hard to understand from a distance why subjectively like these figures are exciting for fans versus these other ones that they don't care about, when I feel exactly the opposite. So stocking them and serving that audience is so much more of like I don't know, let's give it a shot.
Yeah, and it's just because it's not our bread and butter, and we're just doing it. And admittedly, we were the first store that people knew had it, but I wonder where they were going before this, where they get their figures.
Yeah, you had mentioned when we'd spoken about the previous figures that we got in
last week.
Yeah, the X-Men's. Was it just a matter of Toys R Us is gone?
Toy Ark is gone?
I hope not. Oh man,
I
took
literally
me a while to find them.
You saw the Toys R Us farewell picture of Jeffrey with a jacket and a hat in his suitcase.
Yeah.
Right before we started this second recording, somebody had posted, like, in the background is their local Toys R Us, and they put a series of figures all waving goodbye.
Aww.
And it was like the Mattel Ultimate Warrior and a He-Man and a McFarlane Sports figure and like a vast variety of action figures from over the years. Darth Vader.
It should have just been Funko Pops and a bike. Like that's all Toys R Us was anymore, right?
I thought it was cute.
It was for
People
sure.
were like, oh, it's sad. I'm like, no, that's clever. I like that.
Yeah. So yeah, the toy sales once again ridiculously huge this week in a way where maybe that's repeatable in 2019 because some other insane thing comes out that month. Maybe it's not. We talked a little bit,
but I mean, back to back, those 2 days don't equate to a Rick and Morty day.
No, for sure.
So June 2018 was already strong.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good month, and honestly, comics did well. Graphic novels did well. It was a solid month, and hopefully, it's
sustainable.
The new normal is the hope that it's not just like a weird fluke. Christ, if people want to come out on 100-degree days in Chicago and buy stuff, I think that's a great sign.
There were long periods of nobody in the store today, but it was offset by some large purchases.
Yeah, it looks like some club members came in and got their books.
Yeah.
I could kind of tell on the score totals. We talked about
There was one club member who had promised to get a thing in the back that is still there.
Uh-oh.
But the brother came in to say, I'll get it this week, I promise.
Okay. We talked about the DC 100-page giants that are being sold at Walmart. Patrick mentioned that Todd Allen on The Beat had a very long article about specifically what the 100-page giants look like, how many house heads are in there, which is a lot, how often the comic shop locator service ad appears.
Only in 2 of the 4.
Half the time. Where they're located at, which is going to be the trading card collectibles aisle as opposed to the books and magazines section where a lot of people were hoping they'd land. How deeply they're being stocked, which is
maximum 5 copies.
Not deeply.
The 2 dump, like the counter dump that had 2 slots, actively fits 4 by standing 2 up in the back, 2 titles up in the back, and laying 2 titles down in front of it.
Yeah, so for all of the fear that a lot of retailers had about how this was going to cannibalize their business, and a lot of excitement that we had about how this could potentially massively grow the market by introducing a ton of people to comics that maybe would never see comics normally. It doesn't seem like either's going to happen. It's something that a few people will find, but if most people won't. And we spent a little while, and I really don't want to spend a lot of time talking about this, delving into the idea that the content that DC is putting together for this project and the placement that Walmart is giving it in their store feel like they're working at cross purposes. Specifically, Walmart seems like they're targeting this more at younger readers who are looking at this as, an alternative to a pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, while DC is putting together a thing that's very like, hey, teens and adults, like, you could be reading more about these, dark comic books and these, intense superhero narratives. So it doesn't feel like DC or Walmart were really on the same page as far as what this initiative is supposed to achieve, and that made me kind of angry.
The back cover ad for all 4 of the first issues is for all of the Dark Knight's Metals collections, which apparently is unavailable from Diamond at the moment.
Yeah, it's I think it was backorder
Yellow
stocked.
Light?
Yeah, I think is where it was last week. We'll
And
see if that changes.
I don't know how new reader friendly that story is, but honestly, I feel like there were a lot of new readers who were getting into those Batman specials.
Yeah, man, they loved those Dark Knights. They loved them. So yeah, I mean, Metal for a long-time DC reader was a thing where I don't know how long-time reader-friendly that story was. I definitely, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but Scott Snyder, for me, especially his big event, big story sort of stuff, like, the beginning is a really interesting idea, the middle is this insane jumble, and then I feel like I fall out the other side kind of getting the idea of what happened, but not being able to coherently tell people these are the sequence of 5 events that led to that conclusion in the story, so much as it's like, I can tell you A, B, and C, D's kind of a question mark, and then I know what E is. But it's that last part where it's like, I don't know how that all connected into one narrative. But they're fun to read.
You mean the step from Underpants to Profit?
See, I didn't want to use that one because I feel like there's more beats in the beginning that I got.
Okay.
But there's like the second to last beat of every story of his, I'm like, I don't understand what's happening right now, but in the end they won. Okay, great, got it.
Also, I kind of hate that I use that reference.
It's okay. I mean,
I'm not editing it because
it's a very common.
We're already spending more time
analogy
on this week than I wanted to.
Is bringing up that specific because
okay? Well, I feel it's dated now, and no one knows what it is.
It's dated, but it's so succinct in kind of how strange most like modern business plans are. Like MoviePass, not to digress or anything, but MoviePass has that same thing where it's like, lose a ton of money, build up your customer base, like get huge customer growth. At some point, we'll be profitable. Cool. What happens? How do you become profitable in the middle? We'll figure that out.
I'm sorry. Is that MoviePass or Challengers? Which one are we?
I don't know that we ever
built up our customer base.
Assume we'd be profitable is what I was going to say.
I know. I just like the cutting to the middle point.
So that was what we spent a bunch of time talking about, and then we talked about some robot toys that I spent time with in the last few days, and Patrick thanked a bunch of people that will all get their names said again at the end of this episode. And then we ate dinner, and then we found out that
we talked about David Harper and off panel. He's got a piece going up that I think it's for Patreons only.
Oh, okay.
Where he was polling.
And you were giving away that content to listeners of this podcast?
No, I was giving away our
Patrick,
answers.
No,
just our answers, not everybody else's. I don't know who else he talked to about who we thought got people excited just based off of their name being attached to a project.
Yeah, if you hear some name has a new book coming out, what is the some name you can put in there that will make somebody excited before they even know publisher, content, whatever?
Like, if you're Dal and I say Kelly Thompson,
yeah, I'm excited.
You're on board.
Yeah, or Tula Lotay, for example.
This is
my favorite artist working in comics right now, Tula Lotay, number 1.
This is like industry wide and what sells for us.
Sure.
And long story short, we were the only people that didn't say Donny Cates, and the only people that did say Brian K. Vaughan.
Yeah, which, I mean, reflects our store more than it reflects our taste necessarily.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, we're definitely Brian K. Vaughan fans, and have liked Donny Cates projects, but have not, like, gotten on board the Donny Cates hype train like the rest of the industry has.
We actually had a guy in today who said, can you tell me something that Kelly Thompson has written that isn't superheroes? and I could immediately point to Nancy Drew, which he grabbed.
And Jem.
And then I said, Sam, explain Jem to this gentleman. And she did. She did great.
She's truly outrageous. Truly outrageous.
Because, I mean, I started, but I'm like, you know what, Samantha, you take over.
Yeah.
This is way more your wheelhouse.
Uh-huh.
And she did great.
Art on Jem by my third favorite artist in comics right now.
Sophie Campbell.
Sophie Campbell. Has a new volume of Wet Moon coming out later this year.
Is Marcos Martin number 2?
No.
Is number 2 one I should easily be able to guess?
For my taste, probably.
Is it a Transformers artist?
No.
Okay. Is it... It's clearly not Jolly Blackbird.
I like the Transformers artists, but I like them on Transformers. Like, I've seen some of them do other characters, and it's like, no.
Is it a mainstream... Oh, it's Jason Fabok. I'm sorry. I should have gotten that right away.
You mean Jay Fabok.
Should have gotten that right away. My apologies. So, did you come armed with...
Guru Hiru, by the way. Guru Hiru is my number 2 favorite artist. Collective.
No artists.
Collectively, they're one artist.
Okay. That's fair. I totally give you that. Did you have other things to go into?
I had a couple weird topics I could sort of talk about with you, and we could see if you want to talk about them.
I mean, I apologize to everyone listening, but we are not going the distance on this one.
No.
We already did.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not even Patreon that made us do this. It's just our stupid sense of obligation. Excuse me. This free thing we've been doing for almost 9 years, it's
got a life of its own, Patrick.
Yeah, like we don't want to let anybody down.
I mean, I want to let some people down.
Okay.
I don't want to name them, but I definitely want to let them down.
Then go for it. Let some people down. Let's hear it.
Well, I want to check something real quick and see if there's any comics news that
Is it how many Walmart stores there are across the country?
Neglected.
Because that's a question we had posed in the last episode that we didn't.
It's a weird time for
answer.
comics news because we are just on the cusp of San Diego Comic-Con.
As
we're recording this, we're like
2 weeks out.
About 2 weeks out.
Boom is going to start their 10 days of announcements starting on Monday, and they're skipping Wednesday.
So as a result, there's nothing...
10 weekdays, by the way.
There's not a lot of, like, comics news coming out, because if you have something that you need to promote, at this point you're probably going to wait for San Diego, which...
Or the week before.
I don't know if that's smart or not. Like, we've talked before, and we've done San Diego recaps, how weird it is to try and break through at San Diego with publishing news now, because publishing news is so...
backburner,
overshadowed at San Diego. But I wonder if this year, because Marvel's not doing a panel and like a few other major movie people are not doing panels, if maybe this is the year for it. I mean, we know... What do we know? X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold are wrapping up in September, which means there's probably going to be an X-Men reboot for October.
Yeah, but X-Men Red is going to continue, as far as we know.
For a few issues at least.
Yeah.
So that's a thing that could happen.
My postulation is this. Extermination, which will most likely see whatever sweeping changes occur happen in those pages.
The Daleks join the X-Men.
Yes. I believe that the all-new X-Men, the youngsters, the kids, X-Men Blue, will finally go back to the past.
Gotta be gone.
And, part 2, Cyclops comes back.
Yeah,
and we get the Cyclops Jean Grey team.
I would say part 3, Old Man Logan's probably going away.
Okay.
I feel like they're doing a lot of deck clearing. There's a bunch of, like, replacement characters and alternate versions where I feel like as a company they're like, I don't know about this.
Do you know how many questions I've had in the past 2 days about the new Marvel previews? Because it's on the new release wall and it says he's back and it has the classic Wolverine in the blue and yellow costume. People ask, is this Wolverine number 1? Is this part of the new ongoing series? Is this one where he comes back?
That's funny.
And I have to say, it's a free catalog. And I had one guy come up and put it on the counter. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'd like to buy this, please. I'm like, it's free. It says free right across the top.
They're just giving it away?
Yeah.
Why don't they charge money for the Return of the Wolverine?
Yeah, and literally the first time somebody asked me, he's like, what's with that Wolverine? I'm like, I'm sorry? That Wolverine from this week. I'm like, oh, it's the one of the Hunt for Wolverine.
Claws of Madripoor or whatever?
It's the Jillian Tamaki one. No, one with Wolverine on it. I'm like, I don't know. Can you show it to me? So we walk over. I'm like, oh, it's this one. Yeah. Nope. It's a catalog. He'll be coming back at some point. Although, not in the next miniseries where he's supposed to come back.
The Return of Wolverine, which is a follow-up miniseries to the Hunt for Wolverine miniseries that have been coming out, which was a follow-up to the Hunt for Wolverine one-shot. Oh, and I forgot Wolverine Loose Ends is also between the Hunt for Wolverine miniseries and Return of Wolverine.
And you wonder why I said my soul hurts when I have to order books.
At least most of those are done by the time that catalog you're ordering from is orderable. Here's something we didn't talk about comics news-wise, and I guess we'd both forgotten about. And I remember mentioning it to you on Thursday as we're going to talk about this. And it's like, yeah, because you'd seen it as well. DC Universe has a streaming service that's coming out.
Yeah.
We've mentioned it before. They did a little bit of a tease for it with the various streaming shows that'll be on it, like the live-action Titans show.
Like the live-action Swamp Thing show.
The eventual live-action Doom Patrol show. The animated Harley Quinn show. Something else. A new Young Justice season. But they made a formal announcement for it that included basically everything except for a price. Which seems like one of the most important parts of it. Mm-hmm. The reason why it's worth us talking about is not just because we are DC Universe fans who might subscribe to a streaming platform that has some fun DC Universe TV shows.
Because we need one more streaming platform to be subscribed to.
But it's that they're also going to be including comics. In what seems like DC's weird sort of answer to Digital Comics Unlimited from Marvel, there will be a selection of comics rotating their availability on the DC Universe platform included in your DC Universe streaming subscription. So not only will you get some new TV shows like the ones we mentioned, but you'll get some old TV shows like the Batman animated series.
Or like Wonder Woman, the Linda Carter series.
Live-action Wonder Woman. And you'll get a selection of comics, like some New 52 stuff, some classic stuff. It didn't strike me as a huge list of titles.
Constantine will be on the show.
So it's not like you could, with Digital Comics Unlimited from Marvel, they're 6 months behind, but it's basically everything. So you could, in theory, if you could wait long enough, you could drop your comics and just get the Digital Comics Unlimited subscription and read stuff that way. The DC Universe thing does not feel like a replacement for that, mostly because, again, things are rotating. So while it might be available one month, it might not be available the next month.
Doesn't Marvel take things away? I know they add things all the time, but don't they take things away?
I don't subscribe to it, so I'm not sure, but they might. Yeah, they might sunset some stuff. One other thing that the DC Universe subscription will get you is access to exclusive DC Comics merchandise, including the Justice League Unlimited DC Collectibles action figure line. They showed off the first figures, and it is the Core 7 Justice League animated series team members in 6-inch Batman animated series styling.
Were those figures 6-inch, or is this a different format for them?
I think they're 6-inch.
I just thought they were smaller, like 4-inch or so.
No, the DC Collectibles ones are... It's in scale with the Batman animated line that they've been doing for a while.
Okay.
So these are a complement to that.
Okay, I gotcha. I was thinking of the Justice League Unlimited figures.
Yeah, no, not to those. So one of the things that I thought was weird, and that makes the value proposition of a DC Universe streaming service maybe less compelling, depending on the price, is that with all the things it's got, I don't think it's got any of the CW live-action shows. At least none that they promoted.
Yeah, that's true.
So for a lot of people, that's their DC Universe. That's what they're excited about, and you can't watch any of those on that service currently. That may change in the future, like a deal with Netflix may run out, but it doesn't feel like, in the early going, any of the current shows you'll be able to get. So that feels like not a great plan. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, without knowing the price on it, it's hard to say if it's a compelling proposition or not.
What's a price you would get it for, and what's a price you wouldn't get it for?
Well, for what they've shown, and when they've specifically said that in 2018 the only thing that they're going to have is the Titans TV show, everything else is 2019 at the earliest, I wouldn't pay more than $7 a month for it.
All right, I was going to say $5, because
$5 is a good deal.
$7.99 is a Netflix price, or was a Netflix price, and that gives you significantly more content.
It makes me think about Disney's upcoming streaming platform, where they've said it's going to be a lower price than Netflix's monthly price because it will have less content. But that content is like every Disney movie, every Pixar movie, every Star Wars movie, every Marvel movie, a lot of their TV shows and stuff. That alone, like if they wanted to charge me $8 a month for that, sure, I think that would be great. I don't know that DC has as good a platform as that, so yeah, $5 to $7 is about what I'd pay, considering how much stuff is available from that company on other platforms that I already subscribe to.
I can't wait for some of the exclusive merchandise to be a black polo with the DC logo over the breast.
I thought it was interesting that right away they're like DC Collectibles action figures, and good ones too, and a line that we would probably carry if it was offered to us. And it may at some point. This may be like a exclusivity window where DC Universe subscribers will get it first, but then a year from now, like, a set of 7 is made available to comic shops or whatever.
And I want to point out that I was taking a shot at MoviePass for their line of limited edition MoviePass merchandise. That's only on sale for these 2 days.
Sure.
I don't mind talking up MoviePass to people. I will never wear a MoviePass item on my person.
I don't love the way they conduct business enough to put them on my body anywhere. No,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh man, that being said, our friend Philip turned me on to what is the most horrific Instagram page I've ever been able to view. It's called Snake Pit, and it is all the worst tattoos ever been made to people. And that means badly done tattoos or tattoos that are well done of just the grossest, stupidest images, mostly pornographic.
All right.
Yeah, because I have a photo in my phone that was shared with me by my tattoo artist, Caitlin, of the worst tattoo she's ever seen. Not one that she tattooed on someone, but just a vile thing that exists. And I have it to show people, like, no, this is the worst tattoo ever. And it is a bunch of... Can I describe it? Do you mind if I describe it? You know what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine.
Okay. Erect ejaculating penises that spell the word YOLO. And that is something somebody put on their lower abdomen permanently. And it is tame compared to what I've seen on this site. And it's horrific. And I don't know why I brought it up. Sorry about that, everybody.
So... When we had talked about potentially recording a replacement episode for the Lost episode, I'd said I had some things. Well, I do and I don't. The stuff
Wait,
I have...
I thought we were talking all about Lost, the TV show.
The stuff I have
your
is
fan
more
theories.
like conversation starter sort of stuff to see if
Okay.
we can generate some content. I read Knights at the Dinner Table occasionally. Specifically...
You have been known to once or twice in your life.
I've opened a book or two that feature the characters from Kenzer and Company's Knights of the Dinner Table comic series.
And for the record, this is the second KODT reference of this podcast.
It's true. Patrick
I
mentioned
did the
Jolly
first one.
Blackburn unprompted. So there's a strip where Sarah runs the characters through a series of open-ended questions.
I don't know if I can deal with this.
No right or wrong answers. I'm going to theme them for comic books so we can actually keep it somewhat in line with what
Okay.
people expect.
I wasn't objecting to the content.
It was because of the character?
Yeah.
I wanted to be specific. So anyway, one of the characters runs these other characters through a series of open-ended questions. No right or wrong answers. We're just generating a discussion.
Hey, you know what? This sounds like a lot like the upcoming Women's Comics Night speed friending exercise.
It might be.
Yeah, Samantha was going over the how it works with me today in room placement. So ask away.
Okay, so first one. And again, these are all going to be comic book themed. You know with absolute certainty that 1 year from today, Galactus is coming to the Earth to destroy it utterly. That can't be prevented. It can't be averted.
Okay.
Now, would you want to know, or would you not want to know?
I would not want to know.
You'd rather not know.
Yeah.
You'd rather it be a surprise.
Yeah, because then I would spend the rest of the year, trying to get the most out of life, which wouldn't necessarily be beneficial to me or other people. And I would also worry too much about my family and my friends.
Okay. So you wouldn't look at knowing as a sort of freedom from consequences. You would look at it as a burden.
Literally, I'm worried
to
about...
live your life more.
I'm worried about the freedom from consequence. I don't want to go down that path. I don't want to be given the right to purge.
Sure. I mean, you wouldn't have to necessarily murder people. I mean, you could also just, like, watch a bunch of TV.
I wouldn't murder people. I wouldn't watch a bunch of TV.
Okay.
But I'm sure... Look, it's
Tell
like...
me more about this heroin.
I've always said that if granted superpowers,
Uh-huh.
categorically I would be a supervillain.
Most people would, I think.
I wouldn't think I was, but we both know I would be a supervillain.
Sure.
The first thing I'd do is cause serious harm to a lot of drivers on the road.
Okay.
Acting in, like, punishing them,
Mm-hmm.
but that's still wrong.
Okay.
I feel now I have to ask you the same question. Dal, you know categorically that, say, Darkseid is going to come and this crack open the source wall and Earth will be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know?
I would definitely want to know.
Oh, yeah? What would you do in your year?
I don't have any specific plans, but yeah, I mean, it would be definitely beneficial to say, not waste a bunch of time doing a bunch of things that, I would not need to do if the world were ending in a year.
Like pay taxes.
Or this podcast. What? No, come on.
I suppose the question to that is simply, if you could find out the day you're going to die, do you want to know?
Yeah, I mean, this is something where the setup for it is, this is something that's happening imminently, and it ends all life on Earth. Like, it's not supposed to be a thing where, like, how would you live your life differently, whatever. It's, would you want to know about the impending end of the world?
And I think I've been in enough situations where it comes down to, well, I mean, I had to tell you. You needed to know. Did they?
Did I need
to know? Well, I mean, I look at I'm usually the one telling.
Yeah, when people say that, what they mean is, I needed to tell you. I needed to not keep this inside, and I needed someone else to know this.
Well, no, literally in my position, and I'm not going to give any specifics, but you've known me a long time, you could probably figure some of them out. When I have that information for somebody, I genuinely don't know if it's the right thing to tell them, but 100% of the time they say, no, tell me. And then you think, I shouldn't have told you.
Yeah, I don't think anyone ever says, like, if you put it as I have a secret, I can tell you, do you want me to tell you or not? Most people won't think about it in the sense of, like,
what does this mean to me?
Is this going to hurt my feelings to hear this so much as I can't not know? Now that I know there's a secret, I need to know it, which is usually why when there's a twist for a film, you don't say, I'm not going to tell you what the twist is. You don't even mention that there is a twist, because if you tell people there's a twist, even if they don't know what it is, they're waiting for it. They spend the whole movie trying to figure out, what's the twist? Where does it come in?
Do you want me to tell you what she said about you? No, in fact, I never want you to tell me that.
I wish I didn't know she said something about me. But now I do, so now my mind's going to a few basic places.
I want you to tell me. No, you said you never want... No, I want you to tell me now. That's the way it works. Yeah. Thanks, Ghosted. Which, by the way, canceled.
Canceled.
And...
not a surprise.
And there's 3 episodes, they're just not going to air.
They'll air them somewhere.
It's already been pulled off the Sunday schedule.
Sure, but they'll air them somewhere. They have
no plans to air it.
It will be on, like...
No plans to air it!
It'll be on Hulu, or it'll be on, like, a streaming platform, or it'll be someplace.
Yeah, at that point, who's going to remember?
I've watched shows from Fox that they've canceled that months later they're just like, oh, the 6 episodes that we didn't air, they're on Fox.com. And I watched some of them.
Okay.
Like, okay. Question number 2.
Question number 2.
This is going to be a tricky one for... Oh, no, I have a better way to do it. Okay.
Does this end with us staring at each other's eyes for 1 minute solid?
No. Question number 2.
Can it?
Trapped on a desert island.
Mm-hmm.
You can have one person from the comics industry, living or dead, to be trapped on the desert island with. Who would it be?
I think you know who my answer is.
I need you to say it out loud.
I want you to say it so I can see if you're right.
It's Joel Jones.
It's Joel Jones.
Yeah.
Here's why, so it doesn't sound creepy. Joel Jones, and I've said this numerous times to many people, was... And I don't want to do a disservice to anybody who's ever come out to an event.
However.
But I had the most one-on-one fun with her from the second I met her. And I think that she'd be great on a desert island.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
you guys wouldn't get sick of each other, you mean?
She's way more fit than I am, so she could do, like, all of the hunting and the building.
What would you bring to the table, then, exactly?
Oh, good conversation.
Keep in mind, you've stranded her in a desert island.
I would serenade her. I would serenade her with 70s songs because she likes my singing.
Okay.
I recorded a cover of Billy Don't Be a Hero just for her.
Okay.
Which I would play, but we don't own the rights to, so I can't, even though it's my voice.
Can people get you to hum a few bars if they come into the store?
You know what? My website's gone.
PatrickBrower.com?
Yeah, my website, it's completely gone.
Who was doing the hosting for
GoDaddy, and they have no record of it. So, like, I could have given people a link. Doesn't exist anymore. I had a lot of music. Like, that was where Serpent Crown redirected to, was the Serpent Crown page there. All gone.
They got my DMCA copyright takedown notice. Cool. I didn't know if they'd go through with it, but they did.
The marching band came down along Main Street. The soldier blues... I don't know, I remember the rest. Filling behind, I look across and there I saw Billy waiting to go and join the line. And with a head upon his shoulder, his young and lovely fiancée. All right, there you go.
I think you have to cut it off there anymore. I think we're going to pay money for you singing that.
Don't you like how I did it without using the chorus?
Yes, I don't know that song, so sure, yeah.
It's called Billy Don't Be a Hero, so the chorus is Billy Don't Be a Hero.
Okay.
Don't be a fool with your life.
I see.
Come back and make me your wife. And as they started to go, she said, Billy, keep your head low. Whoa. Were you plugging your ears?
I was zoning out. That's all I was doing. I was losing myself in the music.
It was a little creepy looking over and realize I'm actually singing these to you. Dal.
Patrick.
If you were trapped on a pirate ship in the middle of the ocean...
I don't know about that.
All right, fine, a desert island.
Okay, good, because I feel like I'd be killed by pirates.
Same. Well, I mean, it was an empty pirate ship. It's a pirate ship. It's not full of pirates.
To quote Butterglory, you're what planks were made for.
Butterglory reference.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Came up on the random in the store recently.
Are you still into Poster Children?
No. They have a new album coming out, so I'll probably check it out.
They were just here.
Oh, it's fine.
They were here on Friday.
The last
Thursday?
Few 90s acts that I checked out, their reunion or whatever albums, I did not get very far with them. Belly had a new album come out, and I listened to a track, and I'm like, nope.
Oh, wow. L7's back, but you were never into them, were you?
No, never. And I mean, Belly, it's not that their sound changed, it's that I changed, you know?
Yeah, sure. No, I get it. All right, Desert Island question for you.
See, it's tough, because I have the same decision-making process, and it's giving me two different names. But for the same reason.
Guri Hero would count as one person, I guess.
It's true. Plus, I don't know how much English they speak, so I feel like that would be both of them would be a terrible choice for a desert island, because the language barrier would be potentially insurmountable, but definitely frustrating. So my two choices are either the aforementioned Jolly Blackburn or John Barber, because both of them could tell me stories about either the Knights of the Dinner Table or Transformers that would be like I'm getting new content from them that I would be robbed of if I was on a desert island. So I feel like probably Jolly Blackburn.
Okay.
Probably. Because I read KODT every day. I don't read Transformers every day. So yeah, probably Jolly Blackburn. I would say your stupid story is why this is happening. You did a strip on this, and now you're living it. You should have written different strips.
Wow.
Guy.
I didn't realize how much of a karmic vendetta this was going to turn into. By the way, I'm actually enjoying this.
Then I would kick sand on him. Guy. Just to set the tone, you know? You gotta let him know his boss. It's like being in prison for the first day, you know?
Yeah.
Can't be weak.
Nope.
Gotta show strength. Question number 3. You're still on that desert island, but you're by yourself. No, you have another person with you. But you're on the desert island. You have 2 items you can have. 1 necessity item, 1 luxury item. What would they be and why?
You know, the sad part about this is that if Joel got to pick like 100 people, I wouldn't be in that top 100.
I think you would be in the top 25.
With this luxury item,
yeah.
Like, if it was, say, an iPod, would I be able to charge it regularly?
I mean, probably not. But let's assume it's fully charged to start with.
Well, that doesn't help. That's only a couple hours. I mean, I would want a thing in which to play music regularly.
Sure.
That's important to me, but I don't suppose there's a mystery outlet on this island.
Well, what if you said your necessity item was a solar panel? Like
a
solar-powered generator.
I assume I have more items. Like, if I say a knife, it's not the only thing I have.
Well, I think for the sake of argument for this question, the presumption is that all you have is the clothes on your back.
Okay.
Everything else, you're basically at, like, foraging level. Like, you can find fruit and, you know, food and stuff and maybe fresh water on the island, but you wouldn't necessarily have all of the tools or whatever that you would maybe have if you were camping. I don't know.
Can I say a satellite phone?
Sure.
Fully charged?
Sure. One of the knights chose that as their choice.
Did they?
Yeah.
I see.
So that's fine. You can say a sat phone.
Okay. And the luxury item, man, I mean, if it can't be a music player.
Mm-hmm. What if it was like a wax cylinder record player?
Yeah, but then I didn't bring any records. Or wax cylinders. Like, those are 2 separate things. I wouldn't assume, like,
well, I mean, if
record collection and a player.
But if you got an iPod, I'm assuming there's songs on it. So if you got a record player, I'm assuming it's got at least a record on it. I would allow that as
I wouldn't want a record. It's the first thing to make me hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
You couldn't listen to one record for the rest
I don't know, man. I have been listening to Richie Kotzen's Riot all week. Because it's a song he released recently.
We'll come back to question 3. Let's, real quick aside.
Yeah.
You can only listen to one record for the rest of your life. What is it?
Man, so all-time favorite record, Look Sharp, Joe Jackson.
Sure.
It's like
you gotta look
It's
sharp.
like 32 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but longer isn't necessarily better.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
A double album isn't necessarily better than 2 single albums, you know what I mean?
Kiss Double Platinum, because it's 3 albums.
Retrospectation by Bob Burns, because it's 7
6
discs.
discs. Huh. I don't... Wow. I don't know.
I'd probably have to do Superchunk Majesty Shredding. It's my favorite album of theirs, and they're my
great
favorite
album.
band, so that one feels like one I could... I feel like I've already listened to it probably 1,000 times, so what 1,000 more times?
I mean, at this rate, Winery Dog, self-titled.
Okay. So...
You have to answer your question.
Necessity item, luxury item. Necessity item, I feel like it's going to be like something to make like a water filtration unit.
Okay.
Like, I know they said that there's probably fresh water on there, but yeah, I mean, there could be anything in there. In theory, you could collect rainwater, but Christ, who knows? It's bouncing off everything on that island.
Before you keep going, what were some of the other nights' answers?
Now, keep in mind this is a comedy strip for role-playing game fans.
Okay.
So the joke of the strip is that initially they're trying to game the system. That this is supposed to be open-ended questions, but they're like, what is the right answer? What gets me the most points? Like, Bob as a character is always answering first, and then other people give other answers, and he thinks, wait, no, I should do the other one. Like, is that the right one? Should I change this? The person you want to be stuck on an island with, first it's like his friend Dave, and then it's like, wait, no, Gandhi. Wait, Mother Teresa. Like, what is the right answer?
Neither of them.
But later in the strip,
Paul Bunyan.
The punchline is that when it's the necessity item, luxury item, like a few of the people are like, the necessity item is like a nice pair of shoes that are going to keep my feet safe, or the works of Hemingway. But then the last one is the necessity item is like a magic item that is housing and has food in it and whatever. So it's like they're using role-playing game stuff to solve the problem.
So a TARDIS.
Exactly. The necessity item is the Hall of Justice or whatever.
Okay.
You know, like, okay. That's the punchline. Necessity item, yeah, so probably water filtration thing. Luxury item. Yeah, it's tough to pick any electronic item because you got to assume it's going to run out of juice. And I already said water filtration instead of... No, I'll change my answer. I'm going to go with that solar power generator.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say iPhone. I'm going to say my Nintendo Switch.
How long would that last?
Well, with a generator,
Oh, yeah,
I can recharge it.
Okay.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, the Nintendo Switch has a ridiculously low battery life, not plugged in, so it would be like 2 hours.
Did you just get a PS4?
I have a PS4. Yeah, Nintendo Switch.
I was thinking that my luxury item would be some sort of waterproof blanket.
I mean, it seems like more of a necessity thing, but sure, okay. I mean, luxury is more a thing of, like, entertainment, you know, something to keep your mind occupied.
I think having a
But Joel
blanket
is what keeps your mind occupied, so I guess that's probably fine. See, with the Nintendo Switch, it's a 2-player console, so I could just as easily say, hey, Jolly Blackburn, let's play Mario Kart for a little while, so you don't have to keep telling me what the Black Hands are doing in this part of the story.
So that would be the one game it would come with?
I mean, it could come with nearly any game, but yeah, probably Mario Kart. Like, that seems like
it
an
can only
endlessly
come with
playable
one.
game.
Like, I assume it's one game, because otherwise that's a second luxury item.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you could have other things installed on it, though. Like, you could have a few games installed on it digitally.
Okay.
In the same way that you could have multiple songs on your iPod. So I'm going to assume there's a few games.
Let's do one more question.
You didn't tell me what your thing was.
I just did.
Waterproof blanket?
Yeah.
And what was the...
Satellite phone.
Satellite phone, okay. Let's see, what's one more? Alright, so like the soundtrack one, every comics publisher overnight goes out of business except one. Which one stays?
Oh, man.
I realized that question 3 did not contain any comic components, so I feel badly about that. So I'm making this one especially comics themed. In theory, I should have said, like, you can have, like, one item and one comic book.
Am I still on a desert island?
No. In this case, you are... and let's assume, you know, the comics industry as a whole survives and Challengers doesn't go out of business. So this is...
Well, I mean, okay, if it's for the sake of Challengers, the answer is Marvel.
Right. But let's just say as a fan, as a
Right.
human being who reads comic books and reads from a variety of publishers...
Right. Oh, man.
Which one stays?
Like, Oni gives me The Damned and Kaiju Max. Right. But Image has good stuff, but it ends.
Right. Image, as a publisher, I think can be more uneven than other publishers.
Right.
Because it's all dependent on who's working for them and who's got a new project.
I'm still going to have to say Marvel.
Okay. I would say DC Comics.
Yeah?
Between their various imprints and how certain writers are cultivated at that company, I feel like I've even though DC's let me down a few times, especially New 52, I think I'm more of a DC fan at heart than I'm a Marvel fan. So while I'd miss a lot of books at a lot of other publishers, it'd probably be DC that I'd want to keep.
Okay. A little surprised with that, but okay. Not Kenzer and Company, huh?
No, I know. I think apparently quantity over quality. Like, while I read KODT every day, I was going to say I probably read more DC books in a week, but I don't think I do.
Okay, but everything they publish still exists, so you still have that to go back and reread.
Yeah,
so
none of that stuff goes away. Like, you can still read old volumes of Kaiju Max and of Saga and of whatever else. Of course, you can finally catch up on Saga.
Yeah, I mean, I would just...
Gotta have your Captain Americas and Spider-Mans, I guess.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
I get it. I just... Like, for me, the stuff Tom King is doing right now at DC is almost like... I don't know...
Yeah, but Dal,
I like a lot of stuff at Marvel, but...
He would come over to Marvel in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Don't you want to read his Machine Man series?
You would get Marvel creators at DC, but you wouldn't get Spider-Man and Captain America. They wouldn't bring them over.
Right.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's an apples and oranges thing. Again, no wrong answers.
No wrong answers.
No wrong answers.
The right answer, though, is sponsoring us on Patreon. If you find any value in this podcast, and there's a variety of different levels, you can show your support like $1 a month, which is basically 25 cents an episode, which this episode, even though it's the second time we're recording it, at least worth a quarter, right?
Yeah.
I mean, break that down per minute. It's millicents.
I don't know if that's a word, but sure, okay.
Sure, you know, get on a millicent, right?
So what is... If an average episode is...
Let's just say an hour.
60 minutes.
Yeah.
Do the math on that. Thanks to people, and then I'll tell you how much they paid for this episode. Each minute of this episode.
I mean, they're not that level, though.
$5? $5 get your name said?
Yeah.
Like what names?
Names like Ryan Alcock, Michael Lee, Mitchell Davies from All-Star Comics in Melbourne, Australia, Thomas Nagovin from the Century Guild in, I was going to say Los Angeles, but that area of Southern California, Jose Villagomez from Chicago, the entire Springham family. That includes Keith, Margie, Logan, and Malcolm, and Blackagar Boltagon, I also known as Zero. I said I instead of A. It's supposed to be AKA. So I said I instead. One more thing I'm not going to correct. Michael Romanenko, Arthur White, George Brower IV, Morgan Kaiju Perry from Boom Studios, Robert Lane, and Jacob Sorelli from Kamikaze in Israel, and I've never actually learned if that's the correct way to pronounce his name.
Each of them paid $5 a month from Patreon to get their names said, which...
well, I mean, they get their names said. I don't know if they did it just for that.
The math works out to 4 episodes at about an hour each. That means they each paid about 2 cents a minute.
Wow. Okay.
2 cents a minute is about what they paid.
I mean...
It's $1.25 an episode, 2 cents a minute.
Imagine if we were charging $4.99 a minute.
Which means, again, if you are pledging at the dollar level, you are basically...
paying millicents. We've established that.
I was going to say, like...
Oh, come on.
Because what I was trying to find out is basically, like...
Well, while Dal's doing that, I could point out that if you do want to...
1 penny every 3 minutes.
Huh. Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
I was just going to do the usual rate, review, subscribe. Go to iTunes, leave us a review if you like. If you don't like us, don't do anything. You don't have to leave us a negative review. That's fine.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. That's swell.
It's all right.
We got a slew of 5-star reviews lately on Google.
On the Google, yeah.
Yeah, keep getting the notifications.
Thankfully, people are having a good time and not dying of exposure on their way to challenges.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't point out this time that there was a... Did I? That there was a Reddit article about...
You did not. About us having Marvel Legends figures.
And I was so afraid it was going to be like them bashing the store, but it wasn't. It was just them talking about the figures.
That's
and
great.
Arguing amongst themselves over what figure is going to be
what the hot figure is going to be. I remember when the Black Panther wave came out and Black Bolt was in there, And I'd read a few places people are like, Black Bolt's going to be the one everybody wants. Like people are so excited to get Black Bolt. We have all 3 Black Bolts we initially got in. No one's bought a single
Have them
one.
all. It's a good-looking figure.
I think so. I don't get why that's the one no one wanted, but all right, sure.
I'd like to remind everyone that we are open at midnight this coming Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, to be able to sell all of this week's product. Not just Marvel, not just DC. Everything we get in for the week you can buy at midnight. We will not be open continuously. We will be opening at like 11:58 and staying open to maybe 12:40, you know?
Yeah, usually not later than 1 in the morning.
Yeah, but I don't even want to say 1 because if
and
nobody's there,
we wanna-
we're bolting it like 12:30 if we can.
Yeah.
Once it's run its course. So if you're like thinking like I'll come at 1 o'clock, we won't be there.
Yeah, definitely plan on being there by midnight.
Yeah.
We're going to get that initial rush in, and they're going to get their books, and then we're going to be looking at our watches, waiting to get out of here.
And then we will close down, reopen at 11 a.m., even though it's the July 4th holiday where everything else is closed, even though I will be missing a family barbecue.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We will be there, and in theory until 7 o'clock, but, I mean, we may get bored.
Yeah, there's a chance that since there's less likely to have people coming in after work between 5 and 7, which is usually where customers are coming from 5 to 7, if that doesn't exist,
I mean, let's say at least 5.
maybe we call an audible. Yeah,
At
we're
least 5.
we're not closing earlier than 5. That's definitely not happening.
But if we see...
But after 5...
If we see our normal after 5 regulars before 5...
Tumbleweeds coming down Western Avenue...
Yeah.
Maybe we decide to just head home.
But anyway, everything's available at midnight. So
and it's a good week
by.
of books. You got your Captain America #1 by Ta-Nehisi Coates and Lineal Yu. We've got your
Catwoman #1 by Joelle Jones.
Jones. Trapped on a Desert Island, Joelle Jones.
Yep.
Captain America #1 by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Batman #50 by Tom King and a whole host of artists.
Yep. Where have I mentioned that I don't think they're getting married?
I don't know if you have on the podcast, but that is your theory.
I have mentioned it in public. And even DC posted something, because they have a Spotify playlist for Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
Like, hey, you want to have a wedding playlist? Well, as Batwoman and Catwoman... It could be Catman.
I would be interested if that was the twist, is that Batwoman and Catman get married, because that would... So many questions about that. So many.
That leads into the new DC title, Mr. and Mrs. Bat.
Could be a lot of angry fans if Batwoman got married to Catman.
So...
They wouldn't let her get married to her lady friend, but how about this dude?
As Batman and Catwoman prepare to get married, prepare to get married, not get married, prepare to get married is how they were describing that issue.
Yeah, I mean, all we know about Catwoman #1 is it takes place the night of the wedding.
Yeah.
Not that they got married.
And all we know about Batman 51 is that he's fighting Mr. Freeze with Lee Weeksart.
Yeah, it's, well, the storyline after 50 is Bruce Wayne is on a jury, and basically they're trying to decide, did Batman use unlawful force against Mr. Freeze when he was being arrested, as Nightwing is Batman in Gotham City.
Yeah.
So nothing about that storyline says they are or are not married, so who knows?
I'm just saying, in all the solicitation material, neither bride nor groom is mentioned in the other's book.
Yeah. Just that they're both in Gotham City, I guess.
Which could just be really great planning.
Sure.
Or did the Joker's words really resonate with Catwoman in Batman 49?
I would be real sad for Tom King if the plan was always for them to be engaged and not get married, because that's exactly what happened in X-Men Gold, where two characters were supposed to get married, and then right at the wedding it's like, nope, unless Nightwing and Starfire get married at the wedding. Like, if they completely just
Why would it be not Nightwing and Batgirl?
I guess, sure. Because Nightwing and Starfire almost got married at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, fine, Nightwing and Batgirl.
I mean, we didn't say spoilers about X-Men Gold 30.
Because it's already been everywhere.
The panel in which the reveal happened was genius. I think we talked about it, actually.
I don't know if we did. It was... for those who haven't seen it, it's worth tracking down, either buying it or finding the image online, because I'm sure it's there.
I'll be honest, I'm actually glad those two characters didn't get married.
Yeah, so basically, for those who weren't following X-Men Gold, Kitty Pryde had proposed to Colossus. Issue 30 of X-Men Gold is the wedding.
Even though they previously had X-Men Gold, the wedding special.
But that was all just bachelorette party stuff. Yeah. So they're having their ceremony. Colossus goes to put the ring on Kitty Pryde's finger, and she phases her hand, and the ring goes right through her hand, and that's how she goes, I don't want to do this.
Full page spread.
Yeah.
Thought it was really well done.
It's a really... I don't like that book a whole lot, but I will give credit where credit's due. That is an indelible image. That's a really, really clever way of conveying that part of the story. But all of the X-Men are there, so even though they didn't get married, they still have the reception. Everyone's hanging out, and Gambit's like, he's talking to somebody, and they're mentioning something, and he realizes, oh, I want to spend the rest of my life with Rogue. So he goes over to Rogue, gets down on one knee, let's get married. Right now, right here, all our friends are here, we're all dressed up, let's get married. And she's like, fine. So Kelly Thompson is going to be writing the Mr. and Mrs. X series, which is the two of them married, having adventures now.
Why you wouldn't call it Rogue and Gambit like their previous 5-issue miniseries, I don't know.
Especially because, we'd never really talked about this, but Marvel has been soliciting a book called X Classified for the last few months. And they've not said what the book is actually titled, they've not said who's working on it, just that it's a book called, it just got a number, and it's coming out on this day.
Yeah.
And it's related to the X-Men. So after X-Men Gold was released, that day they're like, hey, X Classified is Mr. and Mrs. X, it's Rogue and Gambit, they're married now, Kelly Thompson's writing it, here are the covers, here's the artist. If it was going to be called Mr. and Mrs. X, why not just tell us that part? That doesn't tell us it's Rogue and Gambit.
Here's why. Because you would assume that it's Kitty and Colossus, and the numbers that you would order for that book would be so much lower than if you think this is a big X-Men crossover.
Except... it was X Classified with no content, no creators attached. I ordered one because one person was like, I want the X Classified book. I don't even know what it is. I want it. We were club only at one copy before they told us what it was, because screw them. There's no chance of me ordering.
You saw what my initial order was trying to be, minus 1,000 copies, or minus 100 copies. You can't put in negatives, but I literally ordered 0.
Yeah.
Because the person that added it after
so our initial numbers would have been a positive integer, as opposed to like our rack orders
but
before this, which were 0.
That were not the typical Marvel ordering store, even though I saved them in their eventual
I don't feel like anybody,
crisis.
retailer-wise, was happy about the way this was rolled out, and I feel badly for...
But I think there's a lot of people that ordered high thinking it was a major crossover, and the number of retailers that use FOCs is less than half.
But this is the thing. I feel bad for Kelly Thompson because while there's a chance that people ordered high thinking it was the return of Cyclops or, Wolverine Batman or whatever they got into their heads that was being kept from them, there's also people who ordered 0 because they're like, you're not telling me anything. I don't want to get stuck with this book. I'm ordering non-returnable 0. I'm putting 0 in.
Yeah, but...
And then those same people, like you said, don't do FOCs.
Yeah.
So... Kelly Thompson's book is getting unfairly punished because of a really weird, dumb,
marketing strategy,
aggressively unkind marketing strategy. I don't see how the way they rolled it out was a positive for Marvel as a company.
Oh no, agreed.
Yeah,
completely agreed.
So weird.
By the way, I just thought of this in our Donny Cates discussion, which was mainly in the Lost episode, but slightly before. Mm-hmm. Death of Inhumans.
Yeah.
That's coming out this week. We ordered bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. Which maybe there's, a mystery character in there that everyone's going to get super excited about. Wolverine, but he's also...
a swamp thing.
A man
bat. Thing. I meant man thing.
He's a man bat. Wolverine is a man bat, and he's on fire. There you go.
Call him Bat-Verine.
Flaming Wolverbat. There you go. 5-issue series.
We didn't talk about any of the... what's their new phrase for amalgams?
Amalgams? Infinity warps.
They're warps. And we didn't talk about any of the warps.
But
we're out of time. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Usually when we do Contest of Challengers, Patrick and I are in agreement on a lot of things. We are in a pretty strong disagreement on Infinity Warps.
Gonna push the stop button.
Patrick's into it. I'm not. Wait, the other way around.
Other way around.
I'm into it. Patrick's not at all.
He wants up to go, hold on a minute.
Yeah. I thought I could stop you in your tracks there. Yeah, Infinity Warps. Pro. Patrick Kahn. Keep reading comics.
Fine.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.
Billy, don't be a hero. Don't be a fool with your life.